and welcome back to my channel. So as we are now in December, I thought I'd put out a few festive videos alongside my usual content. Just short standalone recipes, gift ideas, baking, that kind of thing. Maybe give you some low-cost gift ideas that you can make yourself at home. I'm really sorry, I'm losing my voice. I've got a really bad cold and my throat's really sore. Anyway, and that's why I sound a little bit croaky. So for today's video, I'm going to be making homemade chocolate slabs. Now these are so easy to make, they're really cheap. You can make them look really nice and they make wonderful gifts. Back when my 17-year-old was in reception, so he was just turned 5, I made these for his teachers and they went down a treat. Everybody absolutely loved them. So nothing fancy, no fancy ingredients. They cost about £1 a bar to make and they just look so nice. You can wrap them up in cellophane, put whatever you like in them, and it's just really easy to do. There's no faffing around, so thought we'd start with a nice easy one. And we're definitely in a time where we're going to be looking for more low-cost gift ideas, and you can tell when something's homemade that it's come straight from the heart rather than big expensive gestures. So without any more rambling from me, because I can't speak anymore, let's go and get into the video. If you do want to see the rest of my festive content, then make sure to hit subscribe, and let's go and have a look at these chocolate slabs. So in true Blue Peter style, here's one I made earlier and I've packaged it up in a little cellophane bag. I will take it out of the bag and show you, but I just think they look so nice. They make such a lovely Christmas present for somebody. This one I've just put some little stars and things on. So here it is out of the packaging. This is just one of the many designs you can make. The beauty of these slabs is that you can put absolutely anything you want on them. So all you're going to need to make these slabs and make your very own homemade gifts is some moulds. Now when I made these years ago, I used a silicone loaf tray. Obviously you're not going to fill it all the way up. This one is absolutely perfect, so you don't need any fancy chocolate moulds. You can often get these in like the pound shop. This is clean, by the way. It's just been in the oven so many times that it started to burn around the edges, but it's absolutely fine. But what I thought was absolutely genius, and what I've done with this one, is I saw on Pinterest somebody using, they actually use like a normal milk carton. So we drink oat milk. You could use orange juice cartons, you could use like normal milk cartons, but all I've done is cut the oat milk carton down both sides. So as you can see, if it was put back together, you've got your cap on the top there, and I've just cut it down both sides. And I was quite dubious whether this was going to work or not. It works really well. I've already used the one to make this, as you can see. If I pop it back in and show you, it literally fits straight in, and it came out easily, and because they're kind of aluminium lined, you can use them quite a few times. Obviously they're not going to be like washable and things, but if you haven't got silicone molds or you don't want to buy any, if you were making a big batch of these in one day or something, what a fantastic idea. And then they just slip back out. So highly recommend seeing if you can cut down. I just used a bread knife and some scissors at the corners. You do have a little bit of a slope on them, but it really doesn't show, and it honestly makes it more homemade as well. So that's your mould side of things. You can use anything. I used to use little gingerbread man like shaped moulds as well to make little man shaped ones. Obviously you could get Christmas moulds, Christmas trees, all sorts of things, but have a look around your house. The other thing I saw someone else use was Philadelphia tubs to make mini ones. Thought that was a really good idea as well. But have a little look around your house and think, and I'm sure you could come up with some really genius ideas. So ingredients wise, obviously you're just going to need some chocolate. Now to make this bar, I've used 3 bars of milk chocolate, and I've used the cheapest of the cheap, Miss Molly's Tesco's chocolate. It is 33p a bar. So by the time you've got 3 bars and a few little toppings, you're probably looking at around £1 for a beautiful homemade gift that someone would be really thrilled to receive. I know I would. So per bar, we're going to use 3 bars of chocolate. You could use dark chocolate if you wanted. Like I said, this is so simple. There's not really any instructions at all. If you wanted to, and I'm going to do one like this, you could use 2 bars of milk and 1 bar of white chocolate. Again, this is the Lidl 33p white chocolate. They're simply one. No point buying fancy chocolate. And what I'm going to do with this one is put the milk in first, and then I'm going to add on the melted white and swirl it around, and that makes a really cool looking slab, which I will show you. So that's all you're going to need per bar is 3 bars of cheap chocolate. And then whatever toppings you like. So I've got these really pretty Christmassy ones. These cost me about £1 for a massive tub in Tesco's. I've got some, these are like crispy M&M kind of things. I've got some candy canes. These are Speckle biscuits, a bit like Lotus Biscoff style biscuits. And I also got some little Christmas trees and things. These are just from Lidl. But all we're going to do is melt the chocolate and decorate it. So it's a really good one to do with the kids. So I'm not a chocolatier, not a professional. I'm not a professional chocolate maker. I know that you can use a thermometer and temper your chocolate. Tempering it just gives it that nice shine that you can see on here. And it means that it doesn't go like white and chalky. And also it doesn't melt in your hands. It's very, very difficult to do unless you've got a proper thermometer. But my microwave method works every time and it comes out really, really well. And the chocolate does get that really nice shine to it and it doesn't melt very fast in your hands. So the first thing we're going to do out of our 3 bars of chocolate is I'm just going to break off 4 squares and we're going to keep those, roughly 4, doesn't matter, just a piece like this. I'm going to put that to one side. Then the rest of it we're going to break up into squares, so and pop it in a microwavable bowl. This can be done on the hob. You would then place your glass bowl on top of a saucepan with a little bit of water in, and then you would use that to heat the chocolate. But the microwave method is honestly, it's so easy. And it doesn't take very long at all, so it's not going to be using loads and loads of power. It probably takes maybe, well, less than a couple of minutes in total. So cue breaking up chocolate music montage. So once our chocolate is all broken up and in our microwavable bowl, leaving about 4 pieces to one side, we're going to pop it in the microwave. Now the reason we leave 4 pieces to one side is this helps to cool down the chocolate towards the end of cooking. We're going to melt it, but we don't want to melt it too fast or too hot. That's when your chocolate splits and becomes cloudy. By adding in your non-melted chocolate towards the end and letting the residual heat from the chocolate melt this piece, you're going to cool down the temperature in here and also melt this, and it really works. It's like a hack for tempering chocolate. Not technically tempering it, but it just gives it that nice snap when you break it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put mine in for 30 seconds initially. So after the initial 30 seconds, we're going to heat it in 20-second breaks and stir in between. So we'll start off with 30. So 30 seconds in and you'll see that the chocolate is just very slightly beginning to melt at the very bottom, but we're still going to give it a stir anyway. Like I said, we don't want to do this too fast or too high. So what I'm going to do now is pop it back in for another 20 seconds and basically rinse and repeat until it has just melted. Okay, so another 20 seconds and the chocolate is starting to melt, so give it a good mix. I'm using a plastic spatula and we're going to give it another 20 seconds. So another 20 seconds in and you're getting the picture. So I think this, I'm going to give it a good stir now because it really is almost there. I'm going to give it one more 20 seconds and then we're going to mix in our unmelted chocolate and we are ready to pour and decorate. So I've taken it out after that last 20 seconds and as you can see it is pretty much completely melted. So what I'm going to do now is give it a really good stir and I'm going to break up my 4 pieces that I left out and add them into my bowl. And now you're just going to keep stirring and stirring until those 4 pieces are completely melted. Shouldn't take long because your chocolate's already hot. But that's just starting to cool it down. You can see it's got a nice shine to it anyway. Sorry about the dog. Every video, disclaimer, my dog snores. If you use the cheap chocolate or any like normal eating chocolate, it has already been tempered, so it does help. You don't want to use cooking chocolate or chocolate chips or anything for this because that hasn't been tempered and it will be much harder to do. So you can see the chocolate is slowly disappearing, but you do need to keep stirring this until it's completely melted. It takes about 15 minutes to set in the fridge, no longer than that really. You can leave it in there, obviously much longer. And then my chocolate is now melted. So we're going to pour it into our mould. I'm going to give this one a go again just to show you that it really does work. So we're just going to pour our chocolate from one end to the other. It's very satisfying. This is the part that the kids love the most, when they get to lick like the spatula afterwards, or me, because there's no kids here at the moment. So once your chocolate is in your mould, we're just going to shake it. Then we just need to decide what we want to put on it. So I think with this one, I'm going to add some candy canes because it's Christmas. So I think I'm going to put a couple of Christmas trees, and I'm going to put a couple of Christmas presents. And then I'm going to sprinkle some candy canes. You could just add whatever you like. You could use edible glitter. All I'm going to do now is pop that in the fridge and keep going. Just keep making them and keep trying different patterns, different ideas. And then all I did, I bought some of these bags on Amazon. They're really reasonable. These are quite tall bags, and you get 3 different designs and the little foil thing so that we can wrap it up. But they also do them in the pound shop, just plain like clear ones. Just have to make sure you check the size because these are slightly shorter. So I'm going to do a white chocolate one just to show you. This one I would use 2 bars of milk chocolate and 1 bar of white, and then you need 2 separate bowls. Melt your 2 bars in the 1 bowl, pour it into your mould, immediately melt your white, and then you pour that onto the top and you swirl it with, like, I'll show you, you swirl it with a skewer. And with the white, again, I would probably, as we're only using 1 bar, just leave out 2 pieces to melt in at the end, and leave out 3 or 4 pieces of the milk. So I'm going to get to melting this, and then I'll show you and we can decorate some more. So I've melted my white chocolate just the same. I'm going to pop my 2 pieces in, and I'm just going to keep stirring until they melt. You could add any sort of essence to this. You could make chocolate orange, and then you could put candied orange on top. I've seen people add alcohol, like Bailey's. When I made them and the boys were younger, I put their initials on, like spelt out their initials. A little mini skewer or a cocktail stick, and I'm literally just going to swirl the chocolate so that the 2 mix. Keep going and just make patterns. Eventually your chocolate will come up from underneath and you'll have this lovely marble kind of chocolatey effect. And then when you are happy and satisfied that's how you want yours to look, just pop it in the fridge. So here are set bars out of the fridge. I thought I'd leave them in their silicone cases. I love how this one's turned out. So you can see how I pop them out. Basically, just loosen the edges. You can just slide it out. I love how this one's come out. This is white chocolate and Biscoff, or like speculoos biscuits, and I just think they look so lovely. They make really nice teacher gifts, or if you wanted to give a neighbour something. Another one. All I'm going to do, you can hear it pop as you just loosen it up. I love this idea of using like cartons and things for moulds. This one's so cute, it's all Christmassy. And then this one is really simple as well, because you just almost fold it back. I love this side of this one. Look, I'm gonna pop these in these bags. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and it's given you some ideas. It's a really fun one to do with kids, but it's also a really nice way to be creative on your own if you just want to take over and do it yourself. So if you did enjoy it, please leave me a like. It really does help me to know whether this is the kind of content you want to see or not. And subscribe if you're not already. I'm going to aim to put up as many of these videos as I can alongside my usual content, so they're definitely not going to be every day, but I've got a good few ideas in mind, so hopefully that's something you'll enjoy, and I will be back really soon with another video. Take care, guys.